Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you for joining us, Guardians. Today, we have CJ Gibson on my right.
What's going on?
Fran Mirabella on my
Guardians.
left in person. And behind us is Gothalion.
That's me. I can't see CJ, and I like, just there he is.
Yeah, he's on a different camera
Yeah.
for those watching
Yeah.
at home.
We don't need to look at him. I'm just looking at Fran. Let's go.
There you go. Well, Fran's the one. You know, he's all coiffed and beautiful looking all the time.
Fran's the
That's good.
handsome
That's
one.
good.
The vanity and the villain. That's a
Yeah.
reference to the game,
There
everybody.
you go.
Thank you for joining us, Goth. How have you been?
I have been busy, busy. And then, good. Everything's
Yeah.
great, man. You guys had Ben on, was it last week?
Yes.
Or the week
No,
before?
2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, T-Rex?
Yes, sorry.
No, T-Rex is Sam.
Yeah, wait, exactly.
Ben is,
Oh, yeah,
Ben is
yeah.
Professor
See, I
Roman.
was
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm so used to
Gothal-
calling
no.
Broman.
Broman.
Bro.
Yeah.
But
They're
we have-
brothers. They're
Broman.
the
It
same
was
guy
Broman,
anyways.
then Sam or T-Rex, and then you. And I think
Okay,
we're going to
that was 2
have
weeks.
another guest next
Irrelevant.
week. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that later.
It's all
So,
blending together.
What have
I'm
you been
busy.
so busy
yeah.
with, Goth?
I mean, we had DCC, obviously.
Little
and then
event.
the updates leading
Huge event.
into Rise of Iron have been a lot of fun, man. The last couple weeks have been exciting. Private matches have been a lot of fun. So, yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
been a crazy week this
Yes.
week. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Today on the show, we're actually going to talk about some stuff going on in the community, including this new Owl Collective ARG that everybody's been kind of trying to figure out. We're going to talk about our opinions of Archon's Forge now that my preview coverage went up throughout the week. You can check it out on IGN.com.
Yeah, now that you've played it and we get to watch you play it,
Yeah.
we'll talk
I'm
about
going
it.
to ask some questions.
Well, I want to know your take on it versus mine and how I'm right and you're wrong. I just
I'll talk about the latter.
And then we want to talk about Rise of Iron and what you're most excited about for when the content drops. So let's get right into it. There's this huge ARG happening right now. It's the Owl Collective. And what it is you hop into a multiplayer match and you get this strange buff and like these pixels are flying around your head.
They're nanites. They're nanites. bud.
Nanites.
Is that the official
Yes.
name for them?
Nanites.
Well, I mean, they're nanites. They're like, it's sort of like
I don't know what
like a
nanites
mechanical virus type swarm situation. Like
Nano
that's-
size.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Nanites. I'm going to call them
Alright.
Franites.
Yeah. So here's what we know about them. There's brilliance, glory, splendor, magnificence, and fortitude. They seem to be color coordinated, sort of similar to what the engrams are colored.
Yeah.
That could be a possibility.
Right. And if you go to the website, right, is owlsector.bungie.net. What I thought was interesting, you know, it's down to the bottom right. I forget what it's called. You get a little bit of like story transmission. And
yeah, you
so-
have to click the circle. You click
Yeah.
that, and then there's a bunch of story transmissions. You see Cade talking to Ikora in the tower.
Yeah, but they relate to the colors.
There's actually more lore on this page than the entirety of Year One Destiny.
Yes, agreed.
Pretty intense.
I personally, you know, just on that note, on the lore and how they're implementing it to this cool ARG game, I like this implementation a lot.
It's very cool.
You have
It's fun.
you have an in-game effect happening to your character, so you start researching what's going on with your character online, and you stumble upon this Owl Sector.bungie.net website, and you learn more about what it is and what's happening.
Yeah.
This is an interesting way to implement a grimoire-like thing.
Yeah. So so for total clarity, what happened, right, is, what was it, just yesterday?
Yesterday.
They did the maintenance.
You hop in your, well, I think it all started with one Twitch streamer was playing, and he noticed he got infected, and when he did, somebody in his chat from the Owl Collective started commenting and saying, please remain calm, da-da-da-da-da, and then eventually this website popped up, which is run by Bungie. It's like an official Bungie
Yeah.
website. And, yeah.
But then it like spread everywhere, and so now I've got a bazillion messages of people who are like, "Do you want to get infected? I have all 5 infections." That's been fun.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
They're
By
researching.
the way,
it.
having all 5 doesn't seem to do anything. I'm
It
not
doesn't.
even sure that getting all 5 was the original intent, which a lot of people are trying to do. But the buffs don't stack,
Yeah.
yeah.
and you can't contract another buff once you've exited an activity, or so it seems. Like, so you get 1 in a PvP match. Once you exit that match, you can't get the other ones. But if you happen to get all 5 in one match,
Yeah.
as your first, transmission of the virus, then you have all 5.
I have a
and then you
character.
could transmit all 5.
I have a character with 1, another with 3, and another with 5.
Yeah. So actually, Goth, since it seems like you've been looking at a lot of this, so if I already have brilliance, which I
You can't
do,
get anything else.
You can't get anything else.
But I already had someone that I gave brilliance to that now has all 5. Like I know
Did he get it inside the same match?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody had one of
So
those.
meaning
in the
he
match.
he had only gotten 1 to start because I gave it to him, and then he went on to get all 5.
Was it in the same match?
Did he get the other 5 on another character or same character?
That's
I've never heard of anybody.
Question.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good
because it's not account wide; it's character
Okay.
wide. Yeah,
But anyway, so it's this weird infections happening. It's like all these like nanites. Love the word. Going to be buzzing around your head. Yeah, what do we think's happening? There's a lot of talk of the tower closing, actually.
Yes. Goth, why don't you
And I have
elaborate on
theories.
that? You brought that up before the show was recording. What do you think about that?
I forget which it's under, but there's talk about quarantining the tower and
That's what they're saying
the
on
Guardians understanding to stay away from the tower. So the theory on Twitch today is that they're gonna shut down the tower on release of Rise of Iron to quarantine the spread of the nanites, which would be a pretty good like game mechanic. Like if you're coming in the Rise and they want to stop you from just power leveling all those vendors in week 1 and just getting like max light standing still. That's not what they want, because that's what happened like last year. People had materials saved up and they spent the first 45 minutes in front of a vendor. That's not a good watch. That's not what Bungie wants to see on live streams and YouTube content. So
Rise of Iron's here. Decrypt.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't we force them to go to Fellwinter's Peak? We need to take refuge and what's left but Fellwinter's Peak. Like that's kind of like, it feels like it makes sense lore-wise and from like a gameplay mechanic, forcing us to go play the content rather than just open engrams and rep up with things.
That would be really cool. All my footage of my pixel-headed guy is going to be great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what. So when I first saw this, I actually just thought, oh, throughout the Rise of Iron, there's going to be some quest that you're going to need some virus, and now you're going to have to chase who has it. That was my first reaction. Then I saw how fast this spread.
Oh yeah.
And I realized, because of how obnoxious, actually, it's awesome. But like, there's so much stuff buzzing around your head.
Yeah.
Not great for PvP now.
Well, it would just be too much to exist forever, I think. This is an assumption, but I was like, oh, it's like a pre-event. And then this talk about, oh, we might quarantine the tower. I'm like, now I see what's happening. They're like, they put this update out. It's a bit of a pre-event to tie into the launch of the game. And I think if that's true, that's an awesome touch.
That's really neat.
If that's true. So I think that
a lot of people are going to be mad that they can't go directly to vendors, though.
But I'm with you, man. I think that's awesome. Is like, we log in, we're all infected, we've all got the same problem, which exists in the story, by the way. And now you got to go play the game as Guardians and figure it out. Instead of, like you say, I'm just going to grind the Crucible and I'm going to become, my next light level. I like that it forces you to enjoy gameplay that they've designed, but two, it brings us together as this like Guardian community, and it's a nice touch if that's what's happening.
I'm looking at the map right now, and it is starting to make like triangle shapes, very similar to
there's the Triforce all over Earth.
Yeah, the Triforce. Yeah, and that's really interesting. I wonder where it's going to go next. We are at
Rasputin Triangle.
Last scan at 24 hours since initialization. I'm just kind of checking out the lore right now.
Yeah, can you read one of the? Is your computer or your phone going to work?
Yeah.
Read like a small piece of a transmission.
Here we go. So Brilliance 3.2. This was one of the first ones. It's Shu. I'm not sure who that is. Anyway, how long since we last convened? I can still recall the Dawn Calamity. So
These are
not
multiple
long enough.
characters talking.
I've got consistent and strange reports coming in from across the system. Try me. A few Guardians in the field reporting being swarmed by some kind of electronic might. The first few after visiting the Dust Palace on Mars, but the rest from all over. How bad? Fantastic, apparently. At least that's what they're yelling over comms. Is Happy shouting a medical issue? Do we take this to the Vanguard? Ikora first. The Hidden might know something.
Yeah, and so he's reading
from owlsector.bungie.net.
Nicely done.
Destin Legary, everybody. Thank you.
Edition tape,
Great.
right?
I liked all the different voices he did. But that was Brilliance, which
I don't have a lot of range.
Which is, so this is what I was going to talk about. There's Brilliance, which is Owl Sector Internal. You just clicked on Magnificence, which is what?
No, that was Brilliance I read from. Magnificence actually has an update.
I know, but wait. Anyway, well, the point is, one of them is sort of Vanguard discussion. Another is coming from, some other folks. So
Splendor is the Vanguard table.
There you go.
Yeah.
But the point is, you're getting different transmissions from different groups, and the idea is, I think, to put together. And now this fear of, oh no, something's happening.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's pretty cool.
All right, so
happy they're doing it.
Magnificence actually just had an update. I'm going to read it really quick. Quist, Shun, I'm hearing the strangest things from you. Is everything shipshape? At any rate, Dr. Shirazi's password was a combination of musical tones and a Persian phrase that loosely translates as, remember who watches you. Her entries are individually locked. The first is below and more follow. So here's the first entry from this character's thing. Shirazi CBPZ 1.1. I am eternally grateful for the opportunity to work with Clovis Bray. No more clawing for research grants. No more hopping universities. The volunteers enlisted for this study are likewise in good spirits. Patient A, Susan, believes with all her heart in the colonization effort and will do anything to support it. 12 hours have passed since injection with Magnificence 2.0. Her vital signs are strong, but she complains of phantom insects. Interesting. So somebody was doing experiments, it sounds like, and it's gone awry. This is really exciting. I love
super
this.
Cool.
I love these little ARG games. I do hope that this clears up before launch. I hope you're wrong about the tower getting
Don't
locked.
want to be doing PvP with the big swarm.
I think it might. I don't know.
You think it might?
We'll see.
I think that
it
would
might.
be fine if it was before launch. But I've been edging all my factions and everything, as many people have.
You'll still get to use that later.
Yeah, you'll get to use it. I think it would happen after the first week. I mean, if it's Siva related, then lore-wise, we're gonna go in and crap on the raid, and then lore-wise, we've won. Now we can unlock the tower. The virus has been defeated and pushed back into the plague lands, and then the Guardians can return to the tower. And then the following week, I think, would be Iron Banner.
The way they've
Right
talked,
before, yeah.
The way they've talked about the raid, though, Goth, they make it sound like you get Siva perfected armor, which is what the goal was with Siva originally, to develop really, really great armor and weapons. And we saw some weapons in actually the launch trailer. So I don't know about that unlocking the tower or anything. Maybe. This seems like it's an experiment by that Dr. Shirazi.
Yeah. I was looking up Persian phrases, by the way, to see. I think it was "remember who remembers you" or something. But interesting. You never know. Sometimes this stuff plays into the game in some small way.
Well,
but
that's what's super cool about it. I mean, Bungie kind of has a history of doing these. So we were talking about the Halo 2 days.
I love bees.
I love bees. That was an old school campaign that they did, to create a lot of hype for Halo 2, and it worked really well. And so this is, it's neat. They always have these little touches. There's something with flaming helmets and everything from Halo 3 to Reach. They've always done some kind of effect with the helmets.
The Nightfalls used to be.
That's
on
right.
fire.
Yeah, you'd have you've done the
Yeah,
XP
I hated
boost.
that went away. I thought that was cool every
I
week.
miss that a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good
good.
point. They never figured that out. We'll have to remember to talk about that another time.
Yeah.
Anyway, by the way, I wouldn't forget the Datadyne Corporation and Perfect Dark. That was before Halo did it, I believe.
No.
Okay.
If we're giving credit to Rare, I think we should throw that out.
Right,
Did Rare do that?
Rare, did Perfect Dark, but then they did the Datadyne Corporation as part of, Nintendo actually had done that, and probably their marketing team. But yeah, it was like this corporation. You were looking at like webcams in the real world, and it related to it. So sometimes these ARG things, they can play off well, get you hyped up.
Yeah.
So,
It's working.
good job.
Yeah, it's definitely
Good on
working.
it.
I mean,
I'm super
everything-
excited.
yeah,
I like
it's super
this.
cool.
I can't wait to see what comes of it. Please solve it, Reddit, so I can get on with my day.
I don't think it's solvable at the moment. I think we're just sort of waiting.
They're piecemealing it out to us.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see where it's at 48 hours. We're at 24 right now.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with just a pre-event for the launch, and then like when you log in on that moment one, I think we're gonna get the answer that we're talking about. And it could be really cool. Like, oh my God, can you believe the tower is closed?
Yeah.
And then we're gonna say for how long? Could be really cool depending on what happens.
Hopefully it ended up being a new PvP thing that you can add later to private matches.
Yeah.
I mean, the way it did in older things, I want that Flaming Bees thing around if I want to be able to sport it later on.
Good old
We'll
flaming
see.
bees.
Yeah,
you heard it
that's
here.
Flaming Bees.
I think they're just going to update the map, and it'll just have a sign over the tower, like tied to it on the navigator or whatever. Moving on, we do need to talk about Archon's Forge. So we got a ton of gameplay, a ton of people talking about what Archon's Forge is. I was able to play it at Bungie, but I wanted to talk to you guys first. Goth, you actually have been pretty much on media
No, I
blackout.
haven't watched any of the footage from it.
So if you're like Goth and you don't want to know anything about Archon's Forge, you should probably skip forward about 10 minutes. And then
I don't think it'll be that
on
long,
the-
but yeah.
we're not going to get into spoiler territory
There's
about
not.
lore. It's basically
Nothing to
Prison
spoil.
of Elders. You go in, you get 5 minutes once you start to kill all the bad guys and kill a boss.
Yeah, you get a key or
Yeah.
whatever, a
Yeah.
Siva fragment. Or, what do you get again? A key?
An
I can't
offering or
remember the
something?
exact name of it,
Yeah.
but,
But it's like a key
you
or
put it in the
fragment.
machine. You put it in the machine, and then you go fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lot like the blanking the runes.
Yeah.
A lot like that. You bring them back. So they've taken Court of Oryx, but also it's a setting like Prison of Elders. It's bigger. It's just one setting, right?
Yeah, they drop in three tiers as far as I've seen: green, blue, and purple.
Yeah.
And we have gameplay footage of the 3 different encounters that you can experience at the green level.
Yep. Yeah, and like for me, when you said there might be spoilers, I was like, honestly, there's so little to spoil.
That's it.
That's
what it is.
Yeah, they announced what it was going to be. We all thought it would be Court of Oryx plus Prison of Elders. Guess what it is? And that's all that it is. And so I'm more on the other side, which is like, okay,
it's more like
so
Court.
I love the setting, by the way. It looks cool. The Siva fragments. It's got the little prison domes, that open up and release like the new squads and stuff.
Don't stay in those, by the way. You die. Pro tip.
They close. Got it. But having seen it, I love the setting, but we're going to keep going back to it. It's way better than, I guess, Court of Oryx is what I'm saying. But it's still one location.
Based
so
on what you saw.
Yeah. Based on what I've seen, exactly.
So does it seem like it's a place that you'd want to go back to and do a bunch of things, or it's like, hey, this is again like Court of Oryx, you just need to do this in order to get a whole bunch of things to level your guy up?
So we do know that there is gear tied to the encounter. So you can
probably art.
You can play it. You get good gear, or you're supposed to. But when I played it, I didn't get anything. I just got like the next tier, and then we did that.
It's possible that they locked it because they haven't really shown off all the stuff
build.
you get.
Bet they did.
Yeah, because that would have shown up in your footage that you got. So it was a dev build.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm like, okay, I understand the encounter, but that was really underwhelming.
Yeah.
I was like, just greens. Like maybe the drops were green, so I didn't care, and I just dismantled them.
But did you get to play on a max level character? Like
I played on a 340 character.
And you were still getting greens?
Still getting. Well, it was you pop a green item into the machine, and then you get.
Because I've noticed the influx of green engrams. I don't think anybody's posed a question to Bungie if that's like normal now, or just based on how our light level is lower than max.
Right. Yeah, I think that's it.
You get green and blue drops. The green drops are trash. The blue drops, though, they can drop it at new light levels for the build I played on.
But yeah, it was so incremental, and we saw this in Taken King. So I mean, I think it's like what you think it is.
But then that was tied to character level, though. Like it wasn't tied to your light level.
Yeah, so I was 340, and I was getting above that blue drops with my Rise of Iron experience.
What's awesome is when your postmaster fills up with a bunch of green engrams, and then you
you
can't get a lot of materials. I mean, I think it makes a loot-driven
true.
game feel more interesting when you're getting trash loot as well as like other stuff you're not going to use.
But, I mean, put that aside. Like we know it's supposedly going to drop something good that we want.
Yeah,
they weren't going to give that to you. I would agree with that statement.
No.
So let's just talk about the gameplay. Compare it to Prison of Elders and Court of Oryx, where there's these different bosses, and
so there's not really
5 minutes now, which is a little different. But
so there's not really a mechanic with the bosses. They show up, you shred them apart, and that's it. You can literally have every other enemy dead on the battlefield. Then the boss shows up by himself. He's like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" And then you just nuke him, and he's done. That's it.
But it's
hey, where'd everybody go? What's going on out here?
Oh no, Galahorn! Oh,
then he melts.
Melts. This wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
poor Fallen.
Was the gameplay? Yeah, what did you like, if anything, about the gameplay? It sounds to me like you're saying the boss design. There wasn't anything that stood out.
Sorry.
It's funny that I don't know.
Do you think they got backlash for putting mechanics in the Court of Oryx?
Pardon?
Do you think they got backlash for putting mechanics in the Court of Oryx? Because like I don't know if you've been to court and had to do like mini Crota
with blueberries.
Nobody knows how to do Crota at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right.
A little frustrating.
Yeah. Well, they did say they toned that down. I think to make it easier and quicker, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because everybody knows how to do or should know how to do Crota, but that kind of goes back. We've been talking about matchmaking and raid matchmaking. It's weird to go into court and have a bunch of people that you're not on the same raid squad with or like on a squad with, and they're just kind of like walking around. You're just going, no, get the sword, hit them. So
like you invite them to your party, and you're like, hey, idiot,
here's
what you have to do.
Yeah, so I get that if they.
But going back, so the mechanics, basically what you're so far saying, Destin, is you didn't notice anything with the mechanics that was too interesting. Like
it's literally kill everything, get to 100%. The boss spawns, you kill the boss, and counter over.
Okay. Yeah, but we had like
you have 5 minutes.
We had destroying mines.
No,
that's
not in
you
there.
didn't see any of that.
No poison.
No. And yeah, that's what I noticed. It was just a bunch of squads, and then occasionally you'd get locked in the little Siva prison, right? Because if
you die and you respawn, you will be locked in prison. I've heard there's ways to get out. I thought I had what I needed to get out, but it wouldn't let me out of the prison. And you can only carry one Siva offering at a time, which was super frustrating.
Offering.
So you couldn't
Yeah, I heard
you
that.
couldn't have a green, a blue, and a purple. You could just have one.
Yeah,
If you have one, you got to pop that.
And you supposedly, if you get it, you can potentially get it during the match.
Yeah.
So
I did get a blue during my match.
Okay.
It's in my footage, so I got it.
So I mean, based on what we've heard, I mean, Goth.
And one of the other guys got a purple.
Gotcha.
Do you feel like, do you feel like this is a mode you're going to play, or do you not know enough about it yet?
No, I mean, and hopefully the upper tiers of it are more difficult than what you're describing. Are you? I mean, because I assume you're describing the base tier for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a green offering, I believe.
Yeah, that's
The
what I'm
green
allowed
offering.
to talk about.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what you're allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the base. That's the base of the game, anyways. I mean, none of the baseline stuff in Destiny is super difficult, anyways. So I mean, it's stuff you go and you roll with your squad, and maybe the harder stuff will be harder, maybe it won't. But
I'm pointing
I
at
think people are
Goth.
going to end up
He's-
at the end of the
he's
day
there,
be doing
by
it
the
for
way.
loot. So if the loot's good and it's varied and the encounters are decent, then
So that's the thing I actually really enjoyed. Rolling in with your squad and shredding everybody did feel really rewarding. That's fun. Anytime you do it, really. You do it in prison. I've been playing prison. I was playing prison a lot. Still no 335 Ghost, by the way. And
Wow.
I really enjoy that. I like rolling in with 3, tearing it apart. And in this mode, you can roll in with more for the higher level encounters. So,
yeah, because what are patrols locked to? 12 people in a zone, or
No,
I don't
they were-
remember. They
Well, that's
expanded
on the
it, I heard.
server or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, you can only get 3 people in. Yeah, I don't think it's changed.
yeah, but I mean, like in a patrol area,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
possibly like your group
Might-
and
yeah.
pugs.
I think you can do
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
So that could be
12.
a lot of fun.
Wait, people can
Yeah.
show up to your.
If you go
thing?
in there and somebody
Just like
pops an
court?
offering, it's like court.
Oh,
You can be
yeah,
in there
I
with
knew
a bunch
that.
of blueberries.
Okay. I forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might end up with as much as we're saying, maybe 12 people or.
Yeah, I
6.
think. I don't know.
Well, number
But
to be
it's-
confirmed, but.
It's really, really fun just steamrolling everybody.
But can't you? Maybe I made this up in my wish list.
And I
but
want to
can-
know what the purple is.
Can you bring
And
4 people into Archon's Forge instead of 3?
You can definitely bring in 3. I can't confirm because I was playing in a
Okay.
controlled environment how many you can bring
I
in.
thought they said that, didn't they, Goth?
They did say in the Game Informer.
Well, didn't they
footage.
say the raid was actually in the patrol again this time? I could have swore they mentioned that.
Oh, yeah, I totally ran by it.
Yeah.
So you ran by the raid. So if it's like Volta Glass
No,
where you
we
can
already know
spawn
that it's
into
in
the raid,
Plaguelands.
then could
In
you
Plaguelands,
technically
okay.
take like a group of 6 to the raid and then run over to Archon's Forge?
It's information we already know.
And
Dan.
Yeah.
Beep.
Test and so frame as embargoed info.
Yeah.
We thought,
Did we make an uh-oh?
No, we're good. We're good. It's in the
Alright.
Plaguelands.
Meaning
You
we
can-
know
you,
it's
You can
there.
see it. You know it's in the big orb thing. You can see that. They've teased that thing is the raid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they've
And
already told us.
By the way, no, I didn't play the raid for all the people asking.
Wow.
Yeah.
When
Do
Destin
you get
gets
that?
worlds first, you can yell at him, guys.
well, actually, Goth, you'll appreciate this. You probably saw it. I don't know if it was
Goth,
Broman or
did you
but
play the raid?
What?
Have you played the
have
new
you
raid?
played the raid?
Have I played the
This
new
is
raid?
a legitimate question I've been getting regularly. Have you played the raid? No is my answer.
No.
Yeah. So
When
yeah.
have I had time to go to Bungie and play the new raid, obviously?
I
Because they
think
would let that happen.
Yep. Yeah, it's worth clearing up once and for all. It's not an
Yeah.
embargoed answer. No, he hasn't played the raid in quotes. He really has not.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
not played the raid. Goth has not played the raid. That has been kept from all of the press.
The thing
as far
is-
as we know, there's nobody.
So Game Informer said they played it for their cover. So the perception was that all media got to play it at an event.
Really?
No.
But
that's
even
not true.
then, I don't know this for a fact, but they didn't play the
I'm
raid.
a little bit put off that Game Informer got to
Wait,
play the raid already.
So time out though. I bet you they didn't play the raid. They got to experience a little piece of it, right? They did
What
not
they
just get
said-
to play the whole raid.
The reason this is coming up is because on their show they said, "Yeah, we played the raid, and
But
we
how
can't
much
really
of it?
talk about
That's
it."
all I'm saying.
But,
Having done
yeah.
a bazillion preview events in my career and etc.
That was the Game
I
Informer
wouldn't-
cover
yeah.
issue thing where they went to Bungie and they played the new raid.
But I wouldn't write it off.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if they showed them the entire raid.
I
Or
have
in
no idea.
context.
They probably put them inside, said,
yeah.
"Look, we'll give you a piece." Literally, what happens is you're only at Bungie for a couple days, maybe, and so you're going to the
Yeah.
side
Yeah.
of everybody's desk, and they're showing you little pieces. I'd be very surprised if they had
Yeah.
2-hour tour of the raid.
Yeah, and for the record,
And
I
giving
don't
all
know where
that
the
away.
raid is on the map. I had never played it.
But whatever the case,
Yeah.
yeah, we're bringing this up because people are accusing like folks like Broman or you or Destin that of course you're going to be world's first. You've already done it. If not,
Nope.
I know nothing about how to solve it. Neither does
Even if
Destin.
I had the option to, knowing I'm running with the Planet Destiny crew, I would have said no.
Yeah,
Because I'm very much about winning fair and square.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never take an unfair advantage in a situation like that. I want to win.
You don't want to win.
And
Trust
have the
me.
pride of saying that I won legit.
Yeah,
You know.
you should trust us enough by now. But the internet is not a happy place.
No.
So Archon's Forge, Gothalion hates it. No, I'm just kidding.
Cringe.
Yeah, maybe
I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to new, man. I just want to see new stuff. That's
Yeah.
like, I'm ready.
Going back to my original question, like, we don't know enough about it, but my perspective is, yeah, I mean, honestly, it just feels like the mode's cool, but you're going to need it for 30, 40 days. You can go back, have some arcadey fun like we had with Prison.
For Archons.
Yeah, for Archon's
Yeah.
Forge. And I think that's what it'll be, and that's totally cool. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't
I want to
think-
see the gear set.
Yeah, I
was
do
gonna
not
say,
think...
it's going to be attached to gear.
Yeah.
If the
But-
gear looks good.
But that's
If
my...
it's that carbon fiber set, I'm not super excited to get that, to be honest. But if it's the Iron... We think it's the Iron Banner set, right? The stuff that's on Firegoth?
Sure.
That looks
Yeah.
like Iron Banner set. Oh, you've been
Yeah.
on Media Blackout.
Why would that come from the Archon's Forge, though? That makes way more sense to be Siva related and whatnot. Although raid set gear, you'd think.
Raid set gear is the Siva gear.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you're talking about. The red and the black.
The red and the
which they've
black
already showed.
is raid gear. That's
Cool.
confirmed.
Yeah, see, I think there's a different set of armor, like Archon's armor or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I want to
anyway,
see it.
There's a lot of stuff that they're not showing yet, like
Yeah.
gear-wise. I feel like we've gotten a lot less of a gear preview than in some previous updates. I don't know.
Got it.
but I think it's a good
There's a lot
solution
of surprises in there.
For
Yeah.
we used to have court and we used to have prison. We kind of do. They're still there, but combine them into one thing. I think it was the right choice, and they did the right thing. But I'm not expecting some big new mode that I'm going to play for the next 6 months. If
So
that
it's-
Definitely.
makes
So
sense.
can I ask a question then real
Yeah.
quick? It's not, is it like a drop-in thing? Like,
No, so-
or is you kind of roam around like Court of Oryx and you just approach it and it's there?
So if you watch my Plague Lands footage, I spawn in the Plague Lands, I get on my bike, and I just rocket straight to where Archon's Forge is.
Gotcha.
You're gonna get yelled at for calling it a bike.
Yeah, it's a Sparrow, bro.
Sparrow.
Sparrow.
My Sparrow.
I call it a
sorry.
speeder, and Chad eats me alive.
My Sparrow. I'm aware it's a Sparrow.
Gotcha.
One thing I didn't realize, when you overheat it, it tweets like a Sparrow.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
you
I
didn't
like
know
that a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah, I dig that.
How's
So
that again,
anyway-
Fran?
It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty good, Fran.
too bad.
That's exactly how it sounds.
It's really nice.
Then it gets faster.
Sorry, we're kind of all over the place right now. Let's bring it back. There was one more question. I put a question out there on Twitter, and we got one that we can talk about, and that is, what are you most excited about for when Rise of Iron launches? Gothalion,
Never
why
gotten
don't you
this
start?
question.
The first
well,
thing to
I mean,
do, though.
it's kind of garbage because my answer to this was
Archon's
always
Forge.
very clearly private matches. I'm so excited for private matches when Rise of Iron launches, but they came out this week. So, I mean, the raid, man. I like the new raid experience. I think in Destiny, now that the stepping into a new raid with no knowledge of what's in that raid is unparalleled
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for Destiny.
That
I mean, there's
first
nothing else
experience.
like it.
Yep.
So
definitely.
that's a pretty vanilla answer, but that's my answer.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like we might need to go around and then adapt the question a bit because, yeah, like the raid, I mean, 100% to me, it's like, temples in Zelda. And it's just such a complex, well thought out, it's a labor of love from the team. And
Yeah.
it really is an experience unlike other games. Being a shooter, being what it is, being this clockwork of your team. So, I mean, of course, that's what I'm excited about. And then getting the gear from it, but you play the raid for sure.
Got it.
I mean, what else am I gonna go? Say I'm gonna go play Rift? Like that's not not stoked to
Yo,
do
Rift
that.
is a lot of fun, bro.
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah,
right with
Fran.
Rift. I'm
Don't
fine
hate-
with
Don't
Rift.
hate Fran.
CJ. Rift.
PvP.
He might say
Yeah.
trials though. I
Kill
don't know.
confirmed or
Yeah. What is
Supremacy,
Yeah,
you mean?
supremacy.
CJ's
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, PvP for me is always the new thing. It was interesting. I played Elimination, and I don't know if you can confirm this or not. Does Trials now just have one heavy ammo round where the boxes?
Yeah, so there's just one box now.
Yeah, so little modes and changes like that, I'm excited to see. Initially, they kind of always irritate you. At first, you're like, oh, let's change where all the special ammo spawns, and let's change these numbers. But over the time, I've become accustomed to just rolling with the Destiny meta that evolves. So whether or not they're rebalancing
Nothing you can
weapons-
do about it.
No, exactly. And I mean, it hurt me again, year one. I still talk about this. My plan C as a diehard fusion rifle guy.
Yeah.
Lots of Plan C year 1 memories, and they dwindled away in year 2. So yeah, seeing what happens there with PvP and being able to explore. Yeah, I was saying just in general, seeing ghosts in some of the PvP maps, stuff like that. So PvP for me is, I'm excited about private matches and stuff.
Got it.
Destin.
I got a lot of flack for saying this in my preview coverage.
Sweet.
Yeah, big surprise, right? I'm really excited to explore the Plaguelands more. And I said, whenever you get an access to a new world, like when we got access to Oryx's ship, and we got to explore there and find all the little secrets, I'm like, you remember just like how big these individual worlds actually are. And people are like, they're not that big. They're just loops. But I'm like, there are... Like, if you remember the ship, there's all these things that you can find that open chests, and there's hidden little
areas,
things that you're going to discover, and, like, there's, like, all these hidden tunnels and stuff in the Plaguelands that you can look at. And I guess I didn't convey that really well in my preview, but I'm super excited to find all the hidden secrets that they've planted within the Plaguelands and all that stuff. I mean, of course I'm excited for the raid, but honestly, I'm more excited to see everybody else's take on the story. And when people start finding out all the secrets of the Plaguelands, and I can be like, news team, they found this thing, and they're like, oh my God, Destin, really?
Yeah.
Again? Another
How
Destiny
big does the
thing?
Plaguelands feel compared to like other zones? Like, because it's a singular zone, right? Or is it segmented
It has
like other patrols?
There's bike paths where you transition from one area to the next, and eventually you go all the way through it, and it's all snow covered. But then you start getting into the molten lava area, and then you get to where Archon's Forge is. There's a big stronghold there. I didn't get to explore very much. I didn't have a lot of time with the exploration, but it feels large. It took me if I just bike from where I spawn all the way to Archon's Forge, it's a 4-minute bike ride about. I timed it out in my footage. So that gives you an idea.
I just envision you pedaling. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I imagine like the Dreadnought was all on foot too. So
Yeah.
Right.
like size feels like being on foot
that's
makes
not-
it feel larger than it actually is.
That's not the end of the level. That's as far as I went. I went to
Right.
Yeah.
Archon's Forge, and that's all I got to experience from the beginning to Archon's. And I don't know that that's the end.
Yeah, can you maybe you can put it in these terms if it doesn't interfere with the embargo. Like, so when you drop into the Cosmodrome Patrol now, you drop in right in that first area.
Yeah.
You come down the hill, go over and down, over around, and then the little like
Up, down,
river.
over, around. Got it. And the
Where
river.
you go in the little river. I
Yards
just forgot the
in there
area's
and-
name suddenly.
Yeah.
Through Moth Yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the right.
But when you go off to the right and you go through that little river bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool moment in the first game. But you get that distance. How does that compare with what you've seen in Plaguelands?
You mean that distance where there's like no enemies or anything?
No, just period. Like, can you go that far easily in the new Plaguelands?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Meaning when you're describing going somewhere, I don't know how long, really it's taking you. So it sounds like it's almost as big as, the Cosmodrome as we know it, the current one.
I
So
mean,
we're
it
getting
still has
maybe-
pieces of the Cosmodrome in it. It has
Yeah.
what the Divide and the Rocket Yards.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out is the new areas is what I'm getting at,
Yeah.
Destin, that you're going into.
It all
How
looks
much more.
Everything I saw looked totally foreign to me.
Okay.
So I didn't like recognize any areas when I was in the gameplay that I posted.
Yeah, see, that sounds
it all looks
substantial.
really different.
Cool.
So
Nice.
I never found like the wall where it was broken apart or anything like that. I think that's where you start maybe.
Lots to explore then. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
there's
thought that's where the
tons
raid
to
was,
explore. There's tons of like interesting things to discover.
And there's a bunch of things that obviously you can see that were there, and they moved and changed.
I didn't see any. Like I said, I didn't see much that was familiar to me because
Okay.
it all looks so vastly different.
Right.
I didn't recognize any of the areas. Like one of the areas I go by, it's just all these shipping containers that are like broken down a mountain and like piled up, and I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Seeing that.
That sounds cool.
My
See, that's
buddy,
what-
my buddy Morning Afterkill pointed out that Cade's stash was knocked off the top of that like very central structure that you see inside the Cosmodrome. If you look at screenshots between looking at that now versus looking at that post Rise of Iron, it's off, and then there's like screens of like a big sphere and stuff. So there might be
cool.
some Cade's stash stuff going on over there.
Interesting.
That's cool.
That's
That's cool.
really cool.
It's a nice find.
So anyway, that's what I'm most excited about. And
I thought I was going to hate your answer. I actually really like that. I appreciate
It's
it.
a
I
nice
didn't-
answer. Good job.
Yeah, I haven't.
thanks.
If you want us to hate it, we will, like collectively.
oh yeah, I could.
I secretly will. But no, I hadn't thought about that new Wonderment, but the scale of it. Now that you've said like that you've done a big piece of it and it feels all new, that's exciting.
Yeah.
In my mind, right, I keep picturing what maybe CJ or Goth was saying, where it felt like, wasn't it just a redone Cosmodrome? But it doesn't
That's
sound
not
like
what
it
it felt
at
like at
all.
all.
So that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Well, do you remember the Cabal quest that you would get on Oryx's ship, where like you get one piece of it from this killing this one guy, and then you open a
Yeah.
computer,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
you go
Yeah,
up
the
there, and
Steam
then you
quest
solve
one,
it.
yeah.
That's super cool,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of stuff I really want to see again. All those harder to find little details.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, CJ?
Court of Orcs did a really good job at that. The calcified fragment thing, the new version.
Siva
the
fragments.
Siva fragments. Did you explore, see any of that, or there was all kind of locked out and there was no?
Well, I mean, my name is Bife has been posting a bunch of videos, so I know where a
Who?
few of them are.
Gotcha.
Yeah, who? No, he's
I'm
great.
kidding.
So I didn't see any. We know that there's one in the new public area.
Okay.
What's it called again?
What, the Playlands?
Fellwinter Peak.
Oh, Fellwinter.
Yeah,
Street.
yeah.
Bowhunters?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if there's a new jumping puzzle, and if you go to the top, apparently there's a fragment up there.
All right.
Nice.
First spoilers.
Yeah.
There you
Oh boy.
Mine. I think that's kind of obvious one. So.
Yeah, and then also, yeah, there is a ghost like in
I
that area.
didn't-
In that area.
I didn't think about that, but we're probably gonna have to get like 50 of these things again or whatever. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally
Yeah,
did
there
not think
is
about that.
there
Oh
is
my God.
another mission to collect them.
Of course
for
there
sure.
are.
So you didn't enjoy
That's confirmed.
calcified fragments then?
No, it was okay actually, but there were certain things to get where I was like, oh gosh, I gotta go get this,
Yeah.
So when it interferes with, like getting a sweet new weapon or gear or whatever, that and takes too long, then it bothers me. But anyway, it's fine. We need stuff to
It's
do
fine.
in this game.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That tone.
I've always talked about I
Fran
get.
loves grinding spin metal for the exotic sword.
Yeah, I
That
know,
was
right?
his
They
favorite.
make the most of the world they have, but there's just some stuff that to me is not fun, and it gets in the way of that's why I don't have Chaperone. It's just I don't want to grind out, being renowned with Last Word and all that. So
Where's your Moments Triumph shirt?
I don't know. Maybe it's in the shipping room. So
Yeah?
yes.
Yeah, you think?
I'm good on
You
moments,
did it.
Destin. Yeah, I'm good on moments.
But you
So
see,
You're gonna
coming,
ruin
yeah.
the surprise.
My shirt's coming also. So
I am.
that's it.
you know,
Oh,
I
you
wear it.
know,
I wear
whatever.
it. I wear it underneath
Yeah.
every episode now.
Oh, do you really?
do it one more time, a little lower, a little lower. This is
Destin's
this is
troll,
for the
by the
fans.
Boom.
Wow, wow.
Every episode. Every episode.
You seemed really
Wow, wow.
uncomfortable with that.
We were all uncomfortable.
No, I'm all good.
I do want to disclose I wore the same shirt 2 shows in a row, a week apart, but this is my favorite new Storm collar shirt. This thing's awesome. I love the color,
Nice.
the logo, but just in case you thought I'd never do laundry.
Fran never
He doesn't.
changes. Yeah.
All right, well,
We need to wrap it up. Gothalion, thank you so much for
Yes.
joining us on this
Yeah,
episode.
thanks, man.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was wonderful having you.
was
Is there
awesome
anything
having
you
you.
want to plug that you have coming up?
No.
No?
We're just doing the do, man.
come on,
That's-
man. We got to get this out of you. Where do we find you? What days of the week is your schedule? And what's going on with Guardian Con?
Oh my god, dude! I can't. Kevin will kill me if I give any information out on Guardian Con right now. Watch for tickets.
Okay.
And honestly, man, we have a directory filled with awesome streamers. If you see me up there at the top of the directory, scroll down a little bit and find someone new to watch. You can come by anytime.
Look at this man, so humble.
Nicely done.
But he's on Twitch all the time. King Gothalion.
I'll still get yelled at, dude. What a shill!
Yeah, exactly. He's played the raid. We know it's true.
World's first.
Yeah.
We're just gonna stop when he's at 1 HP and just sit down until someone else gets it. I don't want to deal with it another year. Holy crap!
Nice. Well, thank you for joining.
All right, yeah. So with
Sure.
that, I suppose we're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say something?
No, man.
No. Oh, okay.
Did
Sorry.
I lag out for a second?
No, it kind of went. It made a noise.
Yeah.
And now it's awkward, and I'm trying to transition to the
You're
outro.
the host,
Yeah,
Destin.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
you
don't
gotta
know
figure
how to
this
do
out.
this show. I'm so sorry. All right. So with that said, thank you so much for coming, Gothalion, to the show.
What's wrong with him?
No, no,
I don't know.
He's
I
joining
broke.
us.
I'm
You
just
see
so
what
excited to
we're-
have Gothalion on
Why
the
did
show.
you have
I
to
know.
slow down on that word?
Yeah.
We're all children, Destin. Come on.
I think we're all just so hyped for Rise of Iron.
Yeah.
Destin
Yes.
also
We're a
has
little
to
giddy.
avoid talking about embargoed info.
Yeah.
And
We're a little giddy.
yeah. And he's got what he's
right.
really nervous about, everybody, for the record. He has to coordinate the Guardians out. And
Yes.
so I'm pretty sure what's going to
Brandon's
be
throwing me
Oh,
so off with
totally.
this because he's like, you have to do it like this. And
I give him such a hard time every
Yeah.
week that he doesn't know how to smoothly give
Yeah.
us time to get ready.
All right.
This is
All
the
right,
time.
everybody. We're
Guardian
going to do the
out.
outro now.
Oh, wait, yeah.
Crap.
Yeah, see, he blew
Did I do
it.
it wrong?
I ruined the show. It's my
All right,
fault.
all right,
One more
all right.
time.
All right.
We're all ready,
All right.
Destin.
Thank you for joining us, Gothalion. And until next time, Guardians,
Guardians
out.
out.
Nice.